already. You guys say funny things.
Great. Okay. Welcome back, folks. This is episode 8 of Town Hall. I'm here with my esteemed co-host, now Mayor Steve Schewel. I can't remember if you were officially the mayor last time we recorded. It's been a little while.
Yeah, I think maybe I was last time.
It would have been in the spring, so yeah, I guess you'd already made that transition into your new seat. Today we are talking about busing as part of a sort of larger conversation about transportation. I myself have been a frequent bus rider for some time. I don't know if you know this, didn't get my license until I was 19 years old. So for the first couple years that I was in school at Durham Tech, where I got my associate's degree, I became very familiar with the then data bus system, now Go Durham buses or Go Transit bus system. But again, we're here to talk about busing. So my first question to you, Steve, is when's the last time you rode the bus?
Last time I rode the bus was about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, where were you headed?
I was on the Bull City Connector.
Okay.
I had dropped my car on Iredale Street. I was going down to City Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, for me that's a great route.
What is the ridership overall, not just for the connector, but sort of for our bus system at large? You probably don't have a number off the top of you, but if you have an estimate, and just maybe in terms of how it's changed over the last few years as Durham has changed, are there some, is there any idea that the bus system is adding riders, is losing riders?
So for the past 3 or 4 years, I would say, the bus system ridership has stayed pretty steady. We have about 20,000 boardings a day. Okay. 20,000 boardings a day. So that's a lot of people riding the bus.
Yeah. Something that I'm always curious about is what would it take to get a new bus rider, a new public transit participant to either forego having a car altogether or to just choose to use the bus more often as opposed to Lyft or Uber or Lime Bike, although, bike, I'm a huge proponent of biking, so maybe.
Well, you've asked the absolutely essential question. So think about what we're doing right now. We're building a parking deck downtown. The county's about to build 2 decks. The city, we're building a deck right now, 800 spaces, because we have this tremendous parking shortage downtown. There's no question.
And where's that one, Steve?
That's at the corner of Mangum and the Loop.
Okay.
Mangum and the Loop. Mangum Morgan, But that's $23 million. Now, over time, that's going to pay for itself. It'll pay for itself just from the parking fees.
Right.
But still, that's not exactly how we want to be using our land and our resources. So we see in a lot of cities which do have good public transit, that Uber and Lyft are actually a threat to that. People are riding Uber and Lyft that were riding public transit.
Okay.
And so public transit, of course, is a critically important collective good. And so you've got to have public transit that's good enough so that people aren't choosing Uber and Lyft as much. I use Uber, and I know how incredibly convenient it can be. So we've got to have a really good transit system to make this work, and that includes rail as well as the buses. So one of the things that we're trying to do to test the actual how to get people on the bus is we have what's called the Mayor's Challenge.
Right.
So we applied for a grant, the Bloomberg Foundation, which is a fabulous foundation in terms of assisting cities with all kinds of things. Our innovation team is mostly paid for by the Bloomberg Foundation. We combine with other cities in terms of working with data through the Bloomberg Foundation. I'm a member of a cohort of 40 mayors that are kind of going to mayor school through the Bloomberg Foundation. So it's great.
As it gets later in the afternoon into the evening, the frequency of the bus changes, and that can be another pain point for folks that, again, don't work a traditional 9-to-5 job. So, for the different folks,
that's a great question.
Kind of in our economy here, how can we take steps to make sure that all of them can strive to make these different changes?
Right. So I think that's a great question, and you're right. I mean, if you're getting off work at midnight, your options are not nearly as good in terms of riding the bus as you're getting off of work at 5 o'clock.
Right.
So that's we've expanded our bus system a lot in the last few years, and we've done it through a transit tax.
Okay.
So 6 or 7 years ago, six years ago or so, Durham passed a transit tax, a sales tax, and that transit tax is half cent on everything that you buy, and and that's paying for the light rail that we will have coming, and our commuter rail and so forth. That's there, but a lot of it was to expand the bus system.
Okay.
And so we have increased headways, in other words, reduced the times increased the frequency with which buses come. So a lot of our routes, which were 30 minutes, now we have 15-minute routes. A lot of them, which were an hour, we now have 30-minute headways, times between our
I've noticed that when I would take the bus, the 5, Route 5, would go down Fayetteville right to North Carolina Central. And it used to just be the 5, and now they have the 5 and the 5K,
Good.
I believe. And they may have more than that. But
that's great.
It's certainly helped going back and forth between our office at Runaway and then down to school and then back to the office.
Yeah. It used to be that you had to all come together in one spot and then go out on your, and so we're really trying to change that. Our bus planners are really trying to change that, so it's not so much a spoke and hub system, but that there are more different ways that you can get around the city without having to go down to the transit hub. But also, we have, relative to a lot of cities, a good bus system. We provide good service, and the other thing we do is we really keep it cheap. So if you have it's $1 to ride.
Per ride, right.
But here's the thing, because there's so many go passes, companies, local government, so many of them have go passes, and for up to 21 now and over 65, you're riding free. So the average ride in Durham now is only 40 cents.
Great.
That's the average price. And so we really keep the bus service cheap, and so that's also an incentive for people to ride. The downside of that is that the fares don't pay for very much of the system. The fares pay for maybe 1/10 of the operating cost of the system.
Okay.
So it has to be subsidized by federal grants and federal transportation grants, but also by city taxpayers. So anybody that owns a $200,000 house in Durham pays about $70 a year to support the bus system.
Okay.
If you own a $200,000 house in Durham, your property taxes, you pay about $70 a year to help support the bus system, which I think is a great expenditure of money. We need that. We need that.
And
system.
Folks should ride it. They should get their money's worth.
And they should
be
get
on
their
the
money's
bus.
worth. They should get their money's worth.
It has helped recently, so if folks don't have it, the Transload app has been incredibly helpful in that regard. It, as far as I can tell, is pretty on time. If you get the app, it's tracking all the buses, so you can figure out what route you want to get on, where you're going. It'll show you when the bus is going to show up. So I know one of the issues for a while was timing when to leave my house to get to the state or the pickup space in time, so that you're not sitting there, especially in inclement weather. You're not waiting in the rain for 10 minutes for the bus. You can kind of clock it to get there right before it shows up. But then if you missed it, you're out of luck.
Well,
so
one of the questions you raised is in the rain. So one of our challenges is, I think we have now about 1,100 bus stops in Durham. And
it's a lot.
It is, but here a lot, which is great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. But here's one of the problems. I think we're now up to, I don't want to get this number wrong, but anyway, don't quote me out there in TV land, but we have about 150 of those bus stops with shelters.
Okay.
I'm not sure of that exact number, but something in that range. So a lot of people, when it rains, if they're standing out of their bus stop in the rain. We add some shelters every year, but it's a spending priority question. How important is it? When you think about a transportation system, should you add more bus routes? Should you have buses come more frequently? Should you add more shelters? I mean, all these things are big questions.
You can't isolate busing as an issue on its own. It's part of a bigger apparatus that we're all a part of. So it's tough to say, we're going to spend our money on shelters when you've got all these other things just within busing that you're trying to fix.
Tough questions. Great.
You never know who you're going to meet on the bus, and that's something that I think would, as someone who really loves Durham and its communities, something that would pull me back into riding the bus. And that's, if folks could just see that once or twice, that would be a tipping point for someone to maybe change their behavior.
We now, the City of Durham contracts with Go Triangle, the regional transit system, to run our Go Durham buses. And some of the things that I hear that they kind of survey people on are safety, which you mentioned, and on-time performance. On-time performance has been an issue for some of our bus lines, for some of our bus routes. And
I'm sure Aaron would happily speak to that.
Work on that. Aaron would speak to that. Okay, well, we won't let him.
Yeah, right. This is
and sorry, Aaron. And then, if you wanted to say that, Aaron, you got to get your own show. and then cleanliness. Those are some of the things that we kind of survey for. We survey ridership for, and we hear reports on that at City Council and try to kind of monitor that and figure out that we've been for the past several years one of the top 50 cities for green fleets, and some years we're in the top 10. So we're really trying to improve the energy efficiency and the way in which our fleet is impacting the environment, the climate. There's we spend a lot of energy and money on that.
Good. Well, we could do this all day. Busing, like we said, is part of a bigger conversation that I would love to continue having.
Let's do bicycles and scooters.
I'm happy to do it. Maybe on bicycle and scooter.
Ooh,
I don't know what our
equipment
that
sounds good. The
needs would be for that.
The scooters are definitely on their way soon.
Okay, we'll look out for those. And you guys look out for this episode and more from Town Hall. Again, thank you for watching. You can find this on clarioncontentmedia.com, on all our social channels. They'll go up with the video when it gets posted, so you can check all that stuff out there. Again, thank you for watching. This has been another episode of Town Hall. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Cool.
That was our best episode.
Yeah?
So